Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are finally getting around to reviewing the Embraer 110 by NextGen Simulations. Now this aircraft comes out at $35, 70-ish cents US dollars. So you also get 3 different airframes with it. Now with these kind of packages, I'm always a little bit on the skeptical side, as you know, 3 quote unquote airplanes for 35 bucks, now you start wondering what you're going to get. But I'm going to keep my expectations according to that. I'm not looking for a perfectly study level aircraft. I'm not looking for a perfectly study level flight model. I'm going to be looking for, is it fun? Is it interactive? Do you enjoy interacting with the cockpit? What's the checklist look like? Is this something that someone can easily jump into and get after? I've already done a few things, such as set up some cockpit cameras for ease of use through the video, and then took a look at the tablet, which I'll show you guys obviously in a minute, which is how you get the doors open and your intake guards and things like that on. So without further delay, let's go ahead and take a look at this aircraft. So the first thing we're going to take a peek at is just the exterior view. For the most part, I actually love it. The reflections aren't too overpowering. The PBR looks great. The detail is very nice. No gapping in the textures. You can see all the rivets and pitot ends and things like that, and sensor ends. I like it. My only gripe is the wheels. If you take a look at the wheels and the landing gear carriage, they look sort of plastic model-ish, and I've seen this a lot in quite a few other aircraft. They look plastic. They don't look metal at all. My other gripe would be the propellers are a little on the dry side. Again, I feel like they should have a bit more reflection than that, and they actually look really small. But that could be because of the airplane, so that has nothing to do with it. I don't think that's a design issue at all. I think it's just they have small looking propellers for the size of the plane. And my other gripe is the windows. I just don't feel like the windows would be that dirty, especially on the forward windshields. That's just, I feel like at some point this would become a safety hazard, right? And it's just weird. You have this perfectly gorgeous looking livery, and the exterior textures look great. If you look underneath the engine there, the intake, housing, everything all nice and polished, and then these windows that look like someone has smeared 400 pieces of gum on. So, but again, that's me. I have to search for it. I'm getting real picky there. I love the fact that you can open the doors and put the intake and exhaust covers and the pitot covers on. I love those kind of things, so they automatically get props for that. I think it's something so small really adds a lot to the simulation. I really do. I think that's a huge thing, and I think goes a long way. So that's enough for the exterior for the moment. We'll probably bounce back to the exterior here in a minute, but let's go ahead and take at the interior now and see what we get. All right, so stepping into the office of this thing, right off the bat, gauges and everything look, they're nice. Could be better, could be worse, but I think they're perfect quality for what we're paying for the aircraft. The Garmin system, obviously, we've seen that in plenty of other aircraft, so not too much to talk about on that note. Disable the flight yokes. Now, real quick, I don't like the yoke stand and the yokes themselves. Let me bring that back up. How did I do that? There we go. The yokes themselves, there are parts that look great, and there are parts that don't. Like up here on the control module here, it looks a little on the fake side. Got sort of a Lego-y look to the reds, and I think it depends on the colors that you're using. And then, like I said, the yoke stand, I don't like at all. I think the reflections is just too much, and again, it looks like a Lego block. Sticking with the Lego theme, if you look at the throttle and mixture and pitch controls, again, what saves the throttle, I think, is the fact that it's a white. So again, I think it goes back to the colors that are used, and then how much reflection and shadowing needs to be used. With these brighter colors, I think it's really important to add those shadows in, otherwise you get this the Lego look, the plastic look. And again, same thing you can see up here on the parking brake handle, but that's all right. Again, not being too picky for this. I do recommend making your own custom views. The default views that come with it are a bit weird. Just to show you a few. So here's 1, 2, 3. Okay, and I'm trying to keep my head still. 4, which is okay. And actually, sorry, I think control, let's see here, what is it? 3, I think since it's, no, that's going to be up top, sorry. So there's 5, 6, and then 7, and then 8, and 0. So just kind of weird. The ones I've made, so here's my default view, my overhead view, and my center console view, or my pit view, whatever you want to call it, dash view. Gosh, I can't talk. The panel here can be, or the tablet, just used for all the exterior equipment, so you can disable or close your doors, unhook your pitot covers, traffic cones, wheel chocks, etc. And then right here, there's a power button. You can click on that. And it says press here to start. You got to come to the edge. Think of the little power button right there. And then you can actually turn the tablet off by just clicking that button there. So right here. All right. So other than that, those are my biggest gripes. That's really all I got for gripe on this aircraft so far. So let's go ahead and start working through the checklist and see if we can get this aircraft started and how much information is provided. All right, so first thing we do obviously is bring up the in-game checklist. Inside the installation folder, I checked. There doesn't seem to be any PDFs or pilot operating handbooks, anything like that for this particular aircraft. So I think all we have to work with is the in-game checklist here. All right, so let's go ahead and start out here. Aircraft documentation. Funny, we were just talking about you. Seat belts and pedals. Parking brake is set. Landing gear lever is down. Battery switch. Let's go up top. Battery switch is right here. It is in the off position. External power, if available. It is available. Where's external? Oh, barely see it right under there. So I think that's just checking to see if it's available. It is. So we'll hold off on engaging that. Flaps are in the up position. Thrust levers are at idle. Prop to max RPM. There we go. And mixture remains in cutoff. All right, moving on to cockpit preparation. Yep, there we go. First one. So external power. There we go. Comm and nav radios on. They should be on, but they're not. Let's come down here. There we go. Okay, turned on. And our transponder turned on. Probably should be in the standby. We'll wait for it. Yep, let's go to standby. Oh, transponder to standby. Fuel quantity. That's fuel flow. Oh, there's our fuel quantity gauges right there. Okay, so looking about 900 pounds, 800 pounds. So we're good there. Especially for the little flight we're doing. By the way, we're over here at Princess Juliana in the Caribbean. I'm really having fun flying out here lately. And it's a nice place to test because you've got a couple of different airports that are close by. And let's see here. Fuel pumps are off. There's left, there's right. Okay. Let's see here. Autopilot or crossfeed valve. Crossfeed. There's a switch. Okay, off. Autopilot system. I saw you. Yep, back here. Off. And pitot heat. I think I saw the de-icing. Pitot heat. Pitot heat. There we go. Okay, so pitot heat's off. Where are we at? I lost my spot. No smoking, fasten seatbelt signs, both on. Okay, saw those. Navigation lights are there. And beacon and anti-collision light. Okay. And let's see here what else we got. So from here, inverters 1 and 2 both on. And inertial separators 1 and 2. Inertial separators 1 and 2, there they are. Both off. Fire test, I'm not going to worry about the fire test announcer here, pedals. Before start, here we go, getting good. All right, flaps to set for takeoff before start. That's weird. All right, so I believe that should be the first stage. We should have a flap gauge here somewhere, right? Do we have a flap gauge? I wonder if it's on the other side. Hang on. Let's come down here. Yep, there it is. Okay, cool. Yep, so 20%, and looks like go all the way down to 80. Okay. All right, and let's see here. By the way, guys, I've never flown any aircraft like this before, so if I don't do everything to the T, forgive me. Left engine fuel pumps on. Right engine on. Saw those. Ground equipment. Yep, we removed all the ground equipment. We can double check that for a second. Pretty sure I did. Yep, everything's removed. Okay, so we'll just get rid of the tablet there. Alright, aircraft doors are closed and locked. And exit. That sucks. So we go from before start to after start. So they don't give us a checklist on how to actually start the engines. Good job, guys. Let me make sure it's not... Nope. It's blatantly missing. Okay. So let's just use some of our common knowledge here, and hopefully we can at least get it started. I don't know if it'll be right, but we'll do our best. All right, so we obviously know that mixtures, let's see, we probably should do this one at a time. Let's do the left engine. Mixture should be at full. Let's crack that left throttle. That's typically how we do this. Let's go up to the top where we had the engine panels, or the ignition panels. I saw ignition. No, that's in-flight ignition. Ah, here we go, start. So let's give it a crank. RPM's on the rise. Oil temp on the rise. Alright, and we should have fuel flow. Alright, so I think we're alive. Oop, there we go. Let's go back up top. Oh, I lost my mouse. There we go. Turn the generator on now. Set the ignition back to the normal position. I guess let's rinse and repeat for engine 2. Take the mixture up to full. Crack that throttle. And let's get engine 2 going. There's fuel flow to 2. The sound's pretty good. You can tell they still need quite a bit of work. Little skippy, hoppy, kind of jumping from one track to the next, but that's alright. Alright, so it looks like we got it rolling. I did see that. Oh, no, we're just now doing it. My bad. Alright, so engine is at idle. So we'll go generators on. Ignition off. Alright, so I think we got it. QNH is 1018. So we've got our altimeter set. Doesn't look like this screen is operational. Alright, let's go to our after start checklist. Battery switch to the battery position. There we go, battery switch. External power disconnected if available. Generators 1 and 2 both on. Voltmeters checked. And rock and roll, it looks like. Initial separators. I wish I had more of a reference to know what they were supposed to be at, but that's alright. Initial separators, both 1 and 2 are on. That makes sense for taxi and takeoff. Common nav and radios. Common nav and nav radios? Nice. Common nav radios are on. Transponder is in standby. Let's check taxi. Taxi lights on. Let's come back up top. There's our taxi light. Left engine pumps on, right engine pumps on. Fuel cross feed as required. Departure heading set. Departure briefing. Alright, I guess we're ready for taxi. See how taxi goes, then we'll move on to see what takeoff brings us. Alright, just thought I'd give you guys a quick external view with all the lights and everything on before we got rolling. Let's see how she flows today. Let's release that parking brake. Bill just lost his head there. She taxis heavy. Quite a bit of power to get her moving. But rudder pedal authority is nice. Not too much, not too little. Oh, you didn't like that hill, did you? Alright, while we're back taxing here, let's take a look at our before takeoff checklist. Parking brakes are set, thrust levers at idle, prop max RPM, mixture fully rich, transponder, yeah, let's go ahead and turn that on. We are doing VFR today. Air conditioning, attitude indicators, we're good there. Flaps are checked, aileron pitch trim, flight controls checked. Alright, normal takeoff, pitot heat, and passenger heat. So let's see here, passenger heat here, pitot heat I have mapped, so I'm gonna have to trigger that. There we go. Probably should get those landing lights turned on. There we go. Alright, auto feather. I actually saw that. Where was that? Auto feather. Armed. Why are we... Gosh, yeah, you really got to push it to taxi, man. Initial separators 1 and 2 are both on. Landing lights, yep, are on. And then we get an after takeoff. So, come on, man. Thrust levers set to 90%. Propeller levers set to 90% of RPM. Auto feather off. Propeller sync on. I don't see propeller sync. Let's see. We're going to have point that one out for me. Okay, down there. Got it. Taxi lights off. Autopilot off. Instruments checked. Alright, so that's going to be a little goofy. Alright, so lining up here. Alright, so going through the checklist, we didn't get any kind of takeoff speed requirements. So I'm guessing that's what this little red line here is for. It looks like about 90 knots is going to be our rotation speed. So that's what I'm going to shoot for. Either that's just a stall speed. I don't know. That could just be minimum speed. This could be maximum. So I don't have that reference right now. So we're just going to sort of power up and hope we use our intuitive nature to know when the aircraft gets loose and when she's ready to fly. So maybe a fast takeoff, maybe a slow takeoff. We'll just have to see what happens. So let's get rolling. Powering up. Airspeed alive. Handles well going down the runway. Starting to rotate. Picked right up at 100 knots, so I imagine takeoff speed was a little before. Get those flaps up. Start trimming. Vertical velocity is looking good. Alright, now they said auto feather off and auto propeller sync on. He said RPM 90% and propeller pitch 90% of that. Which doesn't really make sense. I would have thought that would have happened after we came out of the climb, but so I don't know how much of that I'm buying. I'm actually think I'm going to leave the propellers at max until we're done climbing. Alright, but let's do this. Let's test out the autopilot. This is a good time for that. So we need our yaw damper turned on. There it is. Autopilot master is on. Let's go to altitude hold for a minute. And let's see if we have an indicator of what our altitude is set to. Looks like right there, 2,400 feet. So I'm going to come up there. Yep, there we go. Alright, so let's take her up to 4,000. Let's go into vertical speed mode. And we can see it climbing there. And let's also go into heading hold. Alright, so far I'm really happy. I think it's absolutely worth the money. There are some things that are a little odd, like let's start pulling some mixture back. Listening for engine fallout or watching for RPM loss. Yeah, we're almost a fuel cutoff. Alright, so I feel like the mixture isn't modeled, is what I'm guessing. The prop definitely is. If we pull the prop back, she powers way off, so... Whoa, a little stuttering there. So, again, there are certain aspects that are great, and there are aspects that are definitely lacking. But, I mean, that's to be expected with any of these aircraft. Now, you know, I didn't actually take my time to plot where the heck we were going. So, what do we got out here? We could do... I can't remember what this airport's called off the top of my head. I'm totally brain farting right now. But TFFG, that's a very challenging approach. Actually, I think TFFJ is the bad one. Yeah, let's go back. We'll try to do an approach here at Tango Foxtrot Golf here. Yeah, this isn't the one I'm thinking of. The one I'm thinking of... Actually, maybe that is. I can't remember. We're going to come down here. We're going to see about doing an approach there. And then we'll call it a day. So I'm going to go ahead and bring us around, and I'll see you guys as we get closer to the approach. Alright, so for the arrival checklist, we're at cruise. We already got that part on. No smoking, both on, autopilot off. This is before landing. That's all gravy. Altimeter's adjusted. Auto feather is armed. Propeller sync. Turn propeller sync back off. Come on. Oh, that's the wrong. Oh, crap. I don't know what I hit. Oops. Uh-oh. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I hit the wrong one. That's the propeller sync. Oh, totally my bad. Ooh. Well, my bad. Alright, well, lessons learned. Alright, so that comes on, that comes off. My bad. Let's take our heading mode. Why did I lose all my control here? None of my... There we go. Runway should be out over here, right? Yeah, there it is. I'm really pulling that throttle off now. Yaw damper should also be turned off for approach. We're at 130 knots. Let's get gear down. Probably do everything a little bit early, but it's because I don't know the aircraft. Gear doesn't seem to offer a whole lot of drag. We got 3 green. Flap 60. Cutting that throttle back even further. And she does have a reverse prop. Trim that nose up a bit. I'm having to do a lot of pull back here. .90 knots on the approach speed so far. I'm at full drag on the flaps now. We're going to be scraping those rooftops. .70 knots. Throttles to idle. Wheels down. Reverse prop. Not bad. Said I have no idea how much of that was right, but flaps coming up. Landing light off. I never turned the inertial separators off because we were down so low. There's that drag on the incline. We're on a little bit of an incline here. Come on. See if the marshaller starts doing their thing. All right, let's just stop her here. All right, let's see what we get for a shutdown checklist. Okay, so let's see here. Checklists. After landing, propellers max RPM, fuel mixtures lever to low fuel. Landing lights are off, pitot heat off. Auto feather off. Flaps are up. Cross checked. Parking taxi lights off. Oh. Where's my lights? Yep. Taxi light are up. Parking brakes are set. Thrust levers are idle. Propeller levers minimum RPM. Okay. Fuel mixture levers to cut off. And you can hear them coming down. Alright, that's basically it. So we'll just have to walk through the rest of the shutdown ourselves. But we can do... Oop, let's do this. We want our wheel chocks on, main door, cargo door open. Let's go back up top. Set this down to external power. Generators off. Inertial separators off. Seatbelt signs off. Passengers heat off. Inertial separators off. Let's see here. Anti-collision lights off. Nav lights are off. Let's see here. Turn the avionics off. Oh, I hate that it does this. I really do. Like, I'm not done, jerks. All right. And then now we'll come back up top and, oh, it already set us back to battery only. Or, yeah, you know what I meant. Okay, so let's put our pitot covers on, engine covers on, traffic cones on. All right, and that is our first flight for Overkill Simulations on the EMB-110. Final thoughts here. It's a very simple aircraft. As my final thoughts, I don't think it has a particularly accurate flight model, but yet it was real enough that it was fun. I had a good time. The landing was particularly challenging. Now, some of that is because we don't have any of the numbers available in the checklist. I don't know what the takeoff speed should be, landing speed should be. I have a feeling that checklist is missing a lot of information. So that's kind of a drawback for me that I don't appreciate, just given the fact that, again, it's a simulation. When we have a simulation, we want that kind of information available to us. But, you know, it is what it... Excuse me. But I think it's absolutely worth the price. You know, $35. I had a $35 experience in it, absolutely. The functionality of the cockpit, most of the switches, buttons, etc. work. Whether or not they're, you know, accurate up to par. You know, like my thing with the mixture lever. I did notice that at shutdown, when we pulled the mixture levers all the way back, I could hear the RPMs drop, but they didn't seem to do anything in flight. Now, with that being said, we only got to 4,000 feet, so I don't know how much of that is going to take into play there in regard to the modeling. You know, maybe we weren't high enough where we should notice a difference. You know, normally I fly to between 8 and 10,000 feet, so with these smaller aircraft. So that's always something to be considered. You know, I think on the next flight, I'm going to do some research, find a better checklist for it, and then we're going to take it on a full flight and you know, actually get up and go somewhere. But I'm really going to like it for these little island hops. I think it's cool. The scenery just fits the aircraft, and you know, if you know what I mean, just seems to really do well here. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the description below. Let me know if you have this aircraft. Any tips and tricks you might have for it, by all means, feel free to share. I'm not a pro with this aircraft clearly. This is my first time ever flying one. I had a really good experience, so I hope you guys do as well, and I will see you guys in the next one.